Am I the asshole for being too honest about why I don't drink? I'm 33 and I had a serious drinking problem since a young age. My dad was an alcoholic, so booze never lacked in our house. It nearly killed me when I was only 27 and was in the ER for alcohol poisoning. It was too close a call, and after that things had to change. With my wife's support, I went to rehab, and proud to say I've been sober 5.5 years. My flatmate invited our friends over yesterday. It was 7 of us in total, including his friend, Mark. I've met Mark maybe 3 to 4 times over the last 2 years, and while we're friendly, I honestly don't know him that well. But you can tell he's a party guy. Likes to get loud, take shots, makes gross comments sometimes, etc. Mark brought several cases of beer and a bottle of tequila with him, so everyone was drinking and having a good time. Mark kept offering me drinks the entire night, which I'd politely decline. It's like he made it his personal mission to get me to drink by egging me on, saying every time he sees me I'm either drinking a soda, water, and it's okay to let loose sometimes. He resorted to teasing me into drinking, calling me princess. I don't know what that had to do with not wanting to drink. All my friends there knew what I was like before, how bad my drinking was, so they kept trying to steer the conversation so he'd forget about me. But every now and then he'd hand me a shot glass or a beer and would not let it go even after telling him yet again that I didn't want to drink. My wife became uncomfortable with his behavior. I think she was worried I'd actually drink. She grabbed the shot glass from me, dumped it in the sink, and told him to stop it already. He looked between us and grinned like he understood now. Mark joked that maybe we should get my wife drunk first, then that'll get her to loosen up the leash she has on me. I'll admit, that made me see red. I got in his face and told him, actually I don't drink because last time I did I almost FC King died, so unless you want me puking everywhere and having seizures you should shut up and leave my wife out of this. Wiped the smile off him real quick and he apologized. The rest of night went on and he finally left me alone. Our flatmate did confront me in the morning because he thinks I was too honest with Mark, and it wasn't his fault, he didn't know. He was just joking around and I made him feel bad. Our other friends agree he was being too pushy and deserved being told off. My wife agrees, so he's the only one right now that's taking Mark's side. He said I could have ignored him until he gave up instead of bringing up an uncomfortable truth from my past. Now yes, I could have just told Mark the truth without full details, but felt that's none of his business and a no should have been enough. I only got carried away when he decided to include my wife in his jokes. So yes, I am wondering if I was a bit of an a-hole for what I told him instead of keeping the peace.
Not the asshole. No is a full sentence. Mark was being pushy and an asshole. Peer pressure isn't cute when you're teenagers, and it's especially ridiculous as adults. He disrespected you by badgering you to drink, and he disrespected your wife. No one needs a reason to not do something, but since Mark clearly wasn't going to stop pushing you, you were well within the right to tell him exactly why you didn't want to drink.
Not the asshole. The only person who made Mark look bad was Mark, and he should be embarrassed by his behavior. My partner is an ex-alcoholic and I have never heard her have to explain more than, "No thanks, I don't drink." It's common decency to just back off if someone says no to alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, anything.
Not the asshole. Obviously Mark wasn't going to stop offering drinks and pressuring you into it. Wouldn't be surprised if he tried to trick you into drinking as well. It's a good lesson from him and maybe he'll learn with other people. Congrats on the sobriety.
Not the asshole. The first time he called you a princess or tried to push alcohol on you, he was a bit of an asshole. When he continued to push alcohol on you after that point, he graduated to being a proper asshole. Ultimately, by that point, if he didn't get the hint that you didn't want to drink, then the only way you were going to get through to him was by going completely overkill to get a proper reaction out of him. Anything less he would have just continued brushing off and ignoring.
Not the asshole. Mark is a major asshole though.
Not the asshole. How has Mark and your flatmate not realized that no means no? You should not have had to keep declining once you said no the first time, and you didn't owe him or anyone else an explanation. He crossed several lines and you responded by being blunt, which was the obviously only way to get him to stop.
NTA Mark is. I hate people like him. Take FC King hint.
Not the asshole. I don't understand why some people are afraid to drink with someone sober. He didn't stop when you asked him politely, so he had to hear the uncomfortable truth.
Not the asshole. Mark was repeatedly trying to get you to drink. That's not cool. Nobody should be forced to do anything. Not the asshole. He wouldn't take no for an answer, and the comment about the leash was bullshit. Based on how he was acting, I'm not sure he would have even taken vague comments about your former drinking problems seriously. Good on you for your sobriety.
Not the asshole. Mark is a massive asshole and deserved to be embarrassed and shot down. People like that are horrible.
Not the asshole. I'm allergic to alcohol. It can actually kill me. When people like Mark do not accept my no the first time, I am not nice the second time. But I just say, I understand you want to normalize your drinking problem, but no means no.
Not the asshole. If someone says they don't want to drink, respect their decision. They don't owe an explanation.
Ignore him and maybe he'll go away. That line of action has never worked. Not the asshole. He kept pushing. You pushed back. Why is your reaction the issue and not his actions?
Not the asshole. Why does Mark get to make you uncomfortable half the night, but you don't get to defend yourself? Your flatmate is being unreasonable in expecting you to be a pushover to this drunk dude's taunting. That dude should absolutely be embarrassed at his behavior. In fact, this type of situation is exactly why embarrassment exists, to teach people social boundaries they're too dense to figure out themselves.
Definitely not the asshole. I don't drink myself because my parents are alcoholics. Most of the time people don't try to force alcohol on me, but if they do, I tell them, my parents are alcoholics and my father used to beat us when he was drunk. That shuts them up. They should have respected your choice. Not the asshole. I gave up alcohol due to an allergy, and being sober has given me a totally different perspective, mainly that people like Mark are deeply insecure and need to drink to feel okay in group environments, and people like Op saying no is forcing them to internally confront the rules they've created for themselves on how to feel secure. Hopefully Mark will grow out of it, but in the interim you don't need to tolerate his toxic BS.
Not the asshole. Mark is an asshole and so is your flatmate. Mark was there as his guest and should have been told by your flatmate to shut the fuck up and back off. Your flatmate has some nerve having a go at you over this. He should have sorted out his guest before it ever got to that stage.
Not the asshole. Why does anyone even want him around? He's obnoxious and misogynistic.
Not the asshole. You made it abundantly clear that you had no interest in drinking, and this guy wouldn't let it go. Maybe he'll think twice before he harasses someone now.
Not the asshole. I don't drink either, and folks like this man have put vodka in my drinks when I've specifically asked for a soda. I honestly wonder if the reason they're so insistent everyone must drink is because they've got drinking issues and need everyone else to drink so they feel better about how much they themselves consume. Not the asshole. I hope Mark learned something. Not the asshole. I was married to a Mark, and Marks hate being alone in their alcoholism, so they pressure everyone around them relentlessly in order not to feel insecure about their own drinking habits. Good for you for standing up for your wife, too. It's scary to trust someone after recovery, and you just did so much in that moment to reaffirm that her faith in you was well deserved.
Your flatmate is a dipshit. You are not the asshole. I've been sober for years, and when people offer me booze, I simply tell them I don't drink. If they ask why, I tell them I'm in the Hall of Fame. Guess what? Nobody gives a shit. If anybody asks me if it's weird for me not to drink, I tell that I get uncomfortable when people don't drink enough. If you've been to rehab, you know that Mark exhibits all the classic signs of a problem drinker. Pushing 6 years sober is a miracle, and your wife sounds awesome. Stay off the hooch and keep her around. Tell your flatmate to kick rocks. You couldn't keep the peace, because there was no peace. Mark already broke the peace. Why was it on you to ignore him and suffer in silence while he trampled all over your peace? You did what you had to do, and hopefully the next time Mark encounters someone drinking soda and feels the urge to correct, that he remembers you and shuts his face. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I don't drink, and it really annoys me when people behave like Mark, who was being a total awe. Good on you for being sober for so long, and sounds like you and your wife have an awesome relationship.
Not the asshole. The old just joking excuse. Keep the same joke going until the victim finally snaps, and then turn it around and tell the victim to lighten up. Mark clearly didn't understand the concept of a polite no, and that no means no, so Op had to escalate things to get the point across. Also, congratulations on 5.5 years of sobriety.
NTA. Also, maybe next time someone refuses a drink, he won't question why.
Not the asshole. I live just outside New Orleans, and as one of the biggest drinking towns, drinking culture is really fucked up. So I'm just honest with people to their face about why I won't drink. Oh, I have alcoholics in my family and I'd rather not test fate. Yeah, it makes some people uncomfortable, but it's worked to the point that some other people have begun doing it too. If someone becomes uncomfortable with those truths, I honestly believe it's because they're now faced with how shitty they're being. You never know why some people don't drink. Some people need to learn when to let shit lie.
Ignore him until he gets tired of it is always such a bullshit excuse, and it's never good advice. I heard it so many times during my childhood due to bullying or similar issues. You told him to stop several times and he didn't respect that. He didn't respect your wife either. He's fully in a shoal and you were well in your right to tell him the truth, not the asshole.
Not the asshole for being too honest, but you are the asshole for going to a party during a pandemic.
Not the asshole. How many more times does your flatmate think you should have had to deal with it? Being direct didn't stop Mark from pushing, so you were more direct. Mark only feels bad because his awful behavior got thrown back in his face. He was just joking around. Jokes are funny. Mark was not telling jokes, he was bullying you. You did a good thing making him stop.
Not the asshole. No, absolutely not the R. Mark and your that flatmate are ours. I drink a lot. My co-workers drink a lot. There is one coworker who doesn't, and I never force him to drink. We used to go out to drink at bars. He has never given me reasons and I don't need them. Anytime a coworker tries to pressure him, I always put a stop to it. If Mark dropped it the first time, there wouldn't have been a problem, but the fact he kept making digs at you and then your wife, I would have done the same thing as you, though I would have probably worse.
Not the asshole. Your roommate is an asshole. People who feel almost personally offended by others not drinking are gross. I don't have an alcohol problem, but I've gone long stretches without drinking and have several times had to resort to pretending I'm in recovery just to get people to STFU.
Not the asshole. You don't want to drink, it's your choice. If he don't get that hint, that's his problem, not yours. I really hate this kind of people. Maybe he will think about that and stop that pushy behavior towards other people. Don't feel guilty. Some people need a straight talk.
Not the asshole. There is no law saying that someone must drink alcohol, so why the hell was he being so pushy? I'm a non-drinker by choice and I absolutely hate how other people interpret that as me not having a good time or needing to loosen up a little, and then spend half the night trying to get me to drink. He should have just accepted that you don't drink alcohol. He's not entitled to an explanation why. He should respect that you said no and leave it at that. You have nothing to feel sorry for, as he was the one pushing things too far and then making fun of your wife and your relationship too.
Not the asshole. How can you even think you're in the wrong? If your flatmate was so concerned for this prick's sensitive feelings, he should have told him to STFU hours before. He said I could have ignored him until he gave up. Really? How many does it take for Mark to STFU? Because you literally lost count. I hate the party people that take it personally when you don't drink. Ask asshole questions, get asshole answers. Maybe the next person Mark tries to force into drinking has even worse health, and this makes me wonder how he responds to being rejected by potential dates. Like others have said, no is a full sentence. It's Mark's fault for being a baby and whining about people choosing to be sober. Not the asshole.
Recovering alcoholic and addict here, you were not being too pushy. He was. What you were doing was advocating for your life and disability. He's an €, for taking it so far.
Did the uncomfortable truth make Mark feel stupid? I guess you feeling uncomfortable all night because of Mark was okay. Your roommate needs to go grab Mark so they can both get over themselves. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Mark was being pushy and not taking your no as an answer.
He was just joking around and I made him feel bad. He wasn't just joking. He was using jokes to bully you and later your wife. Not the asshole.
I commented further feelings on this subject in reply to someone else. I feel so strongly on this topic because of personal experiences. But I wanted to say congratulations on your sobriety, and a toast of whatever your preferred non-alcoholic beverage is to continuing with it. I'm proud of you. Your girlfriend and most of your friends sound amazing and supportive, and you are very lucky to have that support. Not the asshole, but as far as Mark and the friend defending him, I would try speaking with them and explaining how serious this can be. If they can't accept your sobriety fully, are they really people you need sticking around?
Not the asshole, and don't invite Mark anymore. He's a total dick, and the people who take his side, your friends, should have backed you up instead, if everyone ignoring his toxic behavior, especially knowing what you went through. I eased up on my drinking as well, and I had people push me to drink and call me names, except I actually snapped and told them to get off my dick. Why do they want me to drink? To sleep with me? Back the fuck off. Again, not the asshole.
How old is Mark? He sounds like an 18-year-old.
Ya know why Mark feels bad now? Because Mark was being an asshole. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole at all. You did try to ignore him until he gave up and it didn't work. I don't drink either, and in my experience the only people who go on and on about me not drinking usually need to take a look at their own drinking. You might have even given him food for thought. It wouldn't surprise me if he's back someday looking for advice from you.
Not the asshole. Mark was being pushy and not respecting boundaries after being told no multiple times. Then he tried to put the blame on your wife. Do not blame you at all for being honest. You did not insult him, only explained why you were refusing his weird need to get you to drink. If he can't handle a honest explanation, then he needs get over himself. It is not hard to include people and let people be who do not drink. I was a bit of a partier in school. One of my roommates and closest friends to this day did not drink at all. There was a bit of once in a while. We were still a bunch of slightly immature college students, but we never pushed him to drink, still involved him in pretty much everything and let him decide how involved he wanted to be. That's gonna leave a mark.
Not the asshole, and honestly, that guy's lucky I wasn't there. I hate peer pressure more than most things. It's 100% unacceptable to try and bully or make someone do something they clearly do not want to do. I would have kicked him out after the first no. I hope he learned his lesson.